In this video, we cover the following topics. Consistency relates to viscosity or the thickness or thinness of a liquid and indicates how a fluid responds to changes in flow, motion, or temperature relative to this thickness or thinness. The consistency of watercolor paints changes as water is added to thicker pigment. This causes the paint to become thinner and more workable in terms of flow and motion. Adding water acts to dilute concentrated paint, resulting in a lighter value of paint with a lower concentration of pigment particles in the mixture. Adding paint to the mix creates a thicker, more concentrated paint, where the higher pigment concentration produces a darker value. Just as sailors need to be aware of the depth and currents of waters they navigate, watercolorists must be conscious of their paint's consistency. Paint consistency in watercolor is important because it determines the transparency, flow, and control of the pigment on paper, affecting the overall value, texture, and blending of colors. This gauge is useful to help grasp the concept of water-to-paint ratios as they are related to the consistencies of paint. Mastering the medium of watercolor involves the delicate art of understanding how water and paint mix. The journey of achieving the right balance between the two resembles navigating the waters, and in this guide, we'll embark on an exploration of the water-to-paint ratios using our nautical spectrum. The paint consistency gauge is a visual tool designed to help watercolor artists understand and control the consistency of their paint, which is a fundamental aspect of watercolor technique. This gauge categorizes paint consistencies using nautical terms related to bodies of water to symbolize the dilution of paint in water. Deep or pure, ratio 0% water, 100% paint. The deep, undisturbed sections of an ocean, where light barely penetrates and the water is densest. This consistency of paint is used sparingly, just as the great deep is rarely seen. A thick, viscous consistency that doesn't apply smoothly. Ocean or thick, ratio 30% water, 70% paint. This consistency is creamy and rich, thick paint that produces a dark value. Ideal for bold strokes, shadows, and sharp details where the color is at its most vibrant. Lake, moderate. Ratio of 50% water, 50% paint. Striking the balance, this consistency is ideal for general painting. Concentrated but fluid, this ratio is ideal for achieving values in the mid-tone and dark ranges. Pond, diluted. Ratio 70% water, 30% paint. This consistency of paint provides some color intensity while retaining a fair level of transparency. The amount of water creates more movement than lake but less than river. This ratio is concentrated enough to produce midtones. River, watery. Ratio 90% water, 10% paint. This consistency of paint is exceedingly thin and offers light values that are good for layering. Heavily diluted with water, this ratio provides a fluid paint that applies easily. River represents paint with the highest water content, indicating a thin viscosity. By mastering paint consistency and value, watercolor artists are better able to navigate the medium with confidence and creativity, achieving paintings that resonate with depth, harmony, and emotion. The book goes into greater detail about the subject of value in upcoming chapters on deep in value, converting value to color, rendering with light and shadow, monochromatic studies, and underpainting. What is the relationship of consistency to value? Paint consistency directly influences the value of watercolor. A higher water-to-pigment ratio results in a lighter value, more transparency, while a lower water-to-pigment ratio creates a darker value, more opacity. Controlling paint consistency allows artists to build depth, contrast, and dimension in their work by varying the intensity of colors. Value plays a crucial role in watercolor painting. Creating depth, the right balance of light and dark values brings three-dimensionality to a work. Conveying atmosphere, lighter values suggest airiness, while darker tones can create drama or focus. Consistency and precision, thicker consistencies provide greater control, crucial for detail work. Looking to transform your watercolor skills? Comprehensive Watercolor, an interactive guide for learning to paint with watercolor, is packed with essential techniques, interactive lessons, a free guide, and over 200 videos to inspire and teach you. It's the perfect resource to make watercolor approachable, fun, and rewarding. If you're ready to take your watercolor skills to the next level, you can find links to purchase Comprehensive Watercolor in the description below. Take the guesswork out of choosing watercolor supplies. The Ultimate Watercolor Product Guide is your free resource for making confident choices. The guide includes paint sets, paintbrushes, palettes, and cool tools. This free guide accompanies the book, Comprehensive Watercolor, an interactive guide for learning to paint with watercolor. Download your free copy of the Ultimate Watercolor Product Guide today by clicking the link located in the video description below or visiting mandikins.com. Thank you for watching. Tap the archer to subscribe and the bell to be notified when I post new content. To continue your watercolor journey, click a video from one of the playlists above.